Welcome to the Dirt Hub All British Motocross Podcast from Dirt Hub with myself, Ben Rumbold, and the Dirt Hub boss, Paul Uden, looking back on the MXGP of Great Britain at Matterley Basin, of course, the weekend just gone, and then last night's Monster Mountain Monster Masters first round there over in the Welsh venue near Merthyr Tydfil. So, Paul, you've obviously been keeping abreast of things, and you enjoyed Matterley at the round itself. What do you think of the GP, first of all?
Yeah, no, I love the GP. It's just, you know what, Matterley Basin is just an amazing venue, isn't it? Like, you just can see the whole lot. Just love the atmosphere of Matterley. Admittedly, the crowd seemed a little bit down on previous, and as we've, it's glaringly obvious we are sort of lacking one of our a GP front runner to cheer on at the moment. But to get Herlings and everybody there, do you know what I mean? Like we are so lucky to have such a great circuit in the UK, and weather was good. Just loved it, mate. Always loved Matterley. Always loved the experience, and we are just very, very lucky to have a Jeep. Let's be fair. Like let's give it up to Steve Dixon. We are very lucky that Steve Dixon puts on such a great GP each year and puts out there, because that is a massive undertaking. So, yeah, just privileged that got to see a GP in dry weather.
Yeah, this is it. Yeah, we had a small sprinkling of rain on the Saturday, I think it was, but which happened just as I got up on the commentary booth with Roger Warren and Jeff Perrett. So they blamed it entirely on me. So that was nice of them. But it was really sweet. I mean, I got to address the obvious, and that is MXGP Race 2, a totally weird one that people were still talking about last night at Monster Mountain, where they go around the first two corners, the top 10, and they didn't change positions at all through the race after that. So that was a real shame. I don't know quite, why it's like that. Motocross, I think track preparation is a fine balancing act. And they had to deal with drier conditions than anybody has faced all season on the GP circuit. So, very, very tricky to try and get that right. And of course, the riders were a bit upset that they couldn't make any moves. But, hopefully that didn't dampen the day too well, because, I thought Simon Langenfeld in particular was incredible. He rode so well. And then, MXGP with wins for Fevre, of course, at the end, the overall win, which was... a top result, and for Glenn Coldenhoff, the first Fantic victory. So you saw a little bit of history there for the Fantic brand winning their first race.
Yeah, for sure. And let's just put it out there, a track prep guy, that is just the most thankless job in this industry. Because you are damned if you don't, you're damned if you do. Whether you water, you don't water, you're beholden to weather. Some people are happy with you, some people are pissed off with you. Like that. We see it in speedway, in grass track, in motocross, in everything. Prepping a track, fair play to anybody that has to go through that job and go through that mixture of emotions they must go through, because very rarely does anybody give those guys credit when it goes right. But everybody's the first on their case when the track's not quite right.
Yeah, I mean, and this is an experienced crew. They work up at Preston Docks, which has had a total transformation in recent years, and looks fantastic. And to be fair, like the British Championship round there last year was great. I also worked at the Compass Cup, which is mainly for youth riders up at Preston Docks on the other circuit they have there. And with weather we had at that time, I was shocked that we even were able to run. So it was great that we could run, and that was all down to the same track crew that then went to work on Matterley Basin. So from that side, it's not an experienced crew. They know what they're doing. But like you say, with conditions as dry as they were, you're damned if you put water down, you're damned if you don't. So very, very tough situation.
Yeah, no, for sure. And obviously we are the All British Motocross Podcast. So, from a British perspective, obviously we were missing Josh Gilbert. The big one that I'm sure we were really missing was Conrad Mewse. Obviously we'll talk about that later when we're talking about the Monster Masters. But it was a tough one also for Ben Watson too, as well. He sort of picked up a little bit of an injury. So from an MXGP perspective, it was a little bit lean on the Brits. MX2, we didn't have any Brits, but we did have plenty of Brits in the EMX classes and the MXE classes.
Yeah, no, totally. I mean, the guys there fully delivered in the EMX classes for sure. I mean, I'll let you talk about your electric bikes in a minute. But yeah, for EMX, I was so happy to see Charlie Heyman finish as strongly as he did in race 2. Started so well and kept that position. At that point, the track was offering overtaking and there was plenty around him. But yeah, Charlie was good enough to hold fast, and he looked perfectly at home at that sort of pace, which is great. And, after Ben Musto took a good top 10 in race 1, admittedly, he hadn't done an awful lot of physical preparation to be up at the top level for EMX 250. It was a bonus ride for him, and he really showed what he could potentially do, especially if he is at his normal level, to hold that position instead of fade back slightly like he did. But yeah, both Charlie and Ben really showed their potential. If I'm a guy if I'm a team boss looking to take a kid to Europe, then you've got to get those two guys on your shopping list, because they could really do some serious work there, and generate 2 future Grand Prix riders if we're incredibly lucky. So we'll see. Obviously, Billy Askew had his issues there. An unfortunate crash in race 1, and the damage then was such that he couldn't continue. But he was able to get there in race 2, and he was behind Charlie for much of race 2. Made a small little error, which can happen to anybody, but he still delivered a good result. So yeah, Billy certainly is not out of the woods yet in terms of his results, but yeah, he's getting into a good direction that we hope he can carry on to in future EMX rounds. So yeah, all in all, from the EMX 250 perspective, I thought it was very positive.
Yeah, and I think Billy, the one on Billy Askew in the second race, he come from sort of quite a way back to get on the rear wheel of Charlie Heyman as well. So it was a really strong ride. If he was able to pass Charlie and bag a 5th, I think it would have been a fantastic ride, because he was looking really fast.
Yeah, he was quick. There's no doubt about it. I mean, he's got the speed. The bike is good, and yeah, it just needs to all come together in the European Championship. I think I don't think he lacks self-belief as such, but I think just really trying to boss it and be in control of everything around him that he can control, I think is the main key there. It's just down to ultimate concentration and getting around it. So yeah, I mean, Billy really has got lots of potential. We know that, and yeah, there's nothing that happened at Matterley that went to tear down any hopes, should we say?
Yeah, and Ollie Coleman, I chatted to Ollie and chatted him previous as well, so he got in the points there. And one thing he said on a couple of interviews with us is that it is a war zone in EMX 250, and TV does not do that justice. And I have to say, I wholeheartedly, I went and spoke to him and said, I get it, I get what you're saying, because I watched the battles that he was in. Like, if you could get to where, like, say, Charlie Heyman was in the second moto, do you know what I mean? You had quite a nice ride. But if you were back from probably 10th down to 26th, like, that was just absolute insane intensity. Like, it was unbelievable. How intense and how full on that racing was. Through that field all the way through, and there wasn't a lot in it. There was not a lot of in the lap times between any of those riders.
No, absolutely, and yeah, it was it was good to see your reaction, because that's what I've been looking at all year, going like, what the hell is this? And the same with last year. So yeah, it's pretty special place, but yeah, I think our lads did all right.
It did, yeah. And do you know what? I've got to say thank you, because I got a tour. I was very lucky to get a tour around the TV setup, and I have to say that is a mind blower. That is impressive. There is tons of people that are involved in the TV stream and the videoing of that event, and that, I have to admit, it did blow my mind. I didn't expect to see all that. You took me to one truck, And then who was the other guy that come out and said, "Oh, come and look at this one as well"?
Oh, yeah, that was Christian, my boss, who is the production manager. So yeah, he resides in the TV truck where we record all the interviews for Behind the Gate, and then also they do the studio show in there. It's all the same area, and then we work in there to edit Behind the Gate, and I also write the race reviews in there after the actual racing itself. So yeah, that's the first truck, and Christian is the boss of that truck. And then yeah, he took us into the truck for where all the Greeks work on the TV production. Which was the second truck, which was probably more impressive with all the technology in it.
Yeah, because the first truck I thought was cool, and the second
Yeah,
truck, that one just was unreal. Like how many people are in there, how much technology is in there. That was unbelievable. I can't. Do you know what I mean? It's like going into another world almost. Like I just didn't expect to see that. And the amount of cost and undertaking that in front, have to go through to broadcast this, the MXGP circus really is unreal. Honestly, that is crazy. That absolutely
yeah,
crazy. I think if anybody saw what I saw, they'd have a different appreciation of what goes on and what goes into producing, production of that quality for the world, really.
yeah. I mean, I don't want to be a so-called cheerleader. People get criticised for that, but working with this stuff week in, week out, or over the 20 rounds of the season, it's pretty impressive that this thing goes around the whole of Europe, and then they set up similar things at the flyaways with mad resources and all sorts of things going on. But yeah, people don't really, like you say, people don't really appreciate just quite how intense that is. I mean, the guys have bases for MotoGP. They go to these facilities that are already in place and they plug in and go. For MXGP, it has to all be, obviously it's similar setups, but if you go to the same place year on year, we always park in the same place at Teufelstal, for example. But it's it's one hell of a thing, isn't it? I mean, can you imagine the insurance on that truck if it has a crash?
Nuts, mate. Absolutely crazy.
Because this all, it all folds up into one truck and drives on to the next country. Like right now, it is between the UK and Finland, which is bonkers.
No, but that was my biggest takeaway from the GP was wow, that is a phenomenal undertaking. And then I started looking after the event. I started looking at all the people that were doing the breakdown of not just the the TV side of it, but the hospitality. And you're thinking, oh my
Yeah,
God, Infront must employ so many people to do this. It was, I was just looking at all these grey people, not that their skin's grey, but you know what I mean, like the grey
the great ship.
MXGP, yeah, all that, and just thinking, there's just hundreds of people as part of this. So you know
Yeah,
what I mean.
and they've all.
Again, it just give me a bigger appreciation of the fact that we do have a GP in the UK, and a bigger appreciation to be fair to Steve Dixon too, because yeah, fair play to everybody that puts it on. We're very lucky, and we should appreciate Matterley Basin and the British GP more.
Yeah, I mean, all those guys have got to be fed. They've got to have accommodation for 4 or 5 days, and looked after to a certain extent as well. Travel is always part of it. So this people say about the money involved with Infront and what they have, what they demand of people, but they give it back in terms of what they actually spend and what they actually put into the sport. Without it, we would still be in the dark ages. So that's something that's I would like to see appreciated more. Again, not to be a cheerleader, a raving fan. There are things within Infront that aren't perfect, but they do work very, very hard to try and put on this show of Motocross Grand Prix as it is now to the world and keep it coming. And so it's another reason why I'll always maybe be on their side. I don't know, tough call, but yeah, it's pretty impressive when you get to see it in person, though, Paul, isn't it?
Yeah, no, for sure. So no, that was a big one for mine. Another big one was Charlie Richmond. EMX 125. He looked really good. Do you know what? I loved his kit setup as well. I thought he looked the part big time as well, and he looked the part, on the bike as well. He looked fast, smooth. Yeah, I think on a 125, Charlie Richmond is an impressive rider, and you only have to see how far the distance between him and our other British riders was really, compared to the British Championship, a few weeks back, really, to see how well Charlie did.
Yeah, and very impressive because, he was right up there. Fair play to S. Briggs Commercials as well for getting involved and helping him out with his entries and everything there. So, Charlie put on a great ride. Hayden Stack was a little unfortunate, I felt. Just a few little tip overs there. And he had a goggles issue, I think, in the second race. But and then Drew Stock just suffered with bad starts. But a lot of this EMX racing is start dependent. But again, that just teaches you what's important in motocross, because it is. And then it's good to see Charlie get up there towards the sharp end and start to challenge in the top 10. So fingers crossed. And again, what's strange for me is that the three guys who perhaps did the best in terms of British performers in the EMX races were three guys that haven't been in that class this year, in terms of Charlie Heyman, Charlie Richmond, and Ben Musto. So these three guys do have come in with very little experience of the class. Can they then translate that form to European venues if they go travelling and race into the same level abroad? That would be the real test now.
Yeah, like you said, that is the biggie, isn't it? He's doing that round in, round out. That is a tough ask for anybody, and it seems to be a tougher ask for us because we're on an island and we have to travel further and a lot more logistics for us to think about.
Yeah, but I mean, you've got a few rounds now that are close. So you've got obviously you've got Finland and Czech Republic, which was not close, obviously, but you have got Belgium, Sweden's not too bad, and the Netherlands. The last three European rounds of that season. So, that's going to be good to see. Although Sweden, I think, is a bit more complicated. They've got the Blue Crew thing going on there. And, of course, Czech Republic, we've got the EMX finals for the 85s and 65s. So that'll be interesting to see.
Cool. On that note, I will just quickly aside on that one. So we did have Jet Gardner winning in Slovakia at the weekend. So on the EMX 65s, we had some really good performances as well from the others, which you will see on the website. We also had Brian Giles there and Harry Dale, second and third in Slovakia in the semi-finals. But we also had Lucy Barker, crowned 3-time European women's motocross champion. So, massive well done to all of those guys out in Slovakia. Like I said, there's a lot more riders that did well over there, but there is a little report on that one on the website.
Yeah, I've seen it now, and a shout out to the Lister family. I spoke to them last night because Casey Lister rode at Monster Mountain straight from Slovakia. So come all the way back to Slovakia after finishing 12th overall in EMX 85 in Slovakia, and then came through to finish it to basically win at Monster Mountain. So that was pretty decent. Harley Marjak was 10th there. Ollie Waters 5th. And Harry Dale and Brian Giles behind Lucas Leok, who's got all the support in the world, obviously in the massive Leok dynasty from Estonia. He took the overall win there. So for the two lads to be behind him is no disgrace at all. And then in 65s, Jet Gardner, great double win for him. Alfie Cotter got up into the top 10, 7th overall. Tommy Wood was out there in 14th, and Max Jones and Jack Clark also got in the top 20. So great for all those riders to get out there. And Lucy Barker, the European Queen. Brilliant work. Okay, Paul, so now it's time to talk about your little electric friends.
Yeah, well, our electric friends, mate, got the Union Jack flying well and truly at Matterley. So fair play. So Austin Senior then, double Revy Cup champion, putting in an absolute amazing performance. You've got to remember how little these kids are, 7 years of age. But not only did we have him on the podium with a double win, we also had another British rider on the box as well. Then Oliver Webb then got 3rd overall. When's the last time we had 2 British riders? I was going to say a win. Remember, I challenged you to that, to when we had a home GP with a winner on top of the podium. But when's the last time we had a home GP with 2 British riders on the podium?
God, blimey, that is really pushing it. I would probably say it's probably EMX at some point when some of the older riders could race it, but yeah, that's one to be studied.
Answers on a postcard and all that, I reckon.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, for sure. So, so we had that. Eli Pole then finished 7th. Colby Redsoe, another former Revy Cup winner, was 9th. It was challenging. So, in terms of the the MXE kids, the track prep was not good, I have to say. Just thinking about them, because they watered that far sort of hill quite heavily. And the kids, it was carnage up there. It was like an enduro, it's like Erzberg or something. Yeah, it was carnage, and that really did affect some of the kids up that top hill. So yeah, feel for some of the little ones that some of them didn't get sort of emerge from there at all, to be fair. So I'll give a couple of other kids. I did interview Charlie Needs, but I couldn't really hear him, so I couldn't put that one out. But Charlie Needs was 17th there. We'll give them all a shout. George Forrest was in there. He scored points. Then Leo Golden was in there. Lennox Turvey. And then another couple of my little Revy racers. Then Blake Blentz and Louis Bryan. I did go and see them. There was quite a lot of tears, unfortunately, when I went and saw them after the second race. And a lot of that was mainly down to that hill. But yeah, you know what? In terms of the experience, though, the families were loving it. How amazing is it to ride your home GP at 6 or 7 years of age in front of that crowd? So yeah, fantastic to see. Massive well done to Austin, and yeah, great to see all these families and all these kids racing.
Yeah, brilliant. I mean, yeah, it was great to see them out there, like you say, and yeah, Eli Pole 5th, Colby Redsoe 6th, Chinese. Yeah, I mean, it was great to see the guys up there, and yeah, we got also a shout out to Oscar Manton, who raced. That's the son of the GoPro rep there, Ash Manton. So it was great to see the young Manton boy doing well. So yeah, really good to see, and we just hope that they carry on with this championship and move on up to the petrol bikes and do well. So fingers crossed for them.
Yeah, no, for sure. So yeah, so that's pretty much MXGP, but certainly from a British angle, obviously we can go on and on if we're talking about the MXGP.
Sorry, there is one thing there. That championship is also going nicely. Let's have a quick look. So they also have races in the Czech Republic as well. So they have 2 more rounds, if you like, at the Czech Republic round at Loket. So Austin Cena leads that championship now by 9 points over the Frenchman César Legout. So fingers crossed.
I think Loket's going to be a really interesting one, like we said, because of our EMX kids, obviously, like we said, Jet, Harry Dale, and all of those guys, Casey Lister, all of these guys in there as well, and MXE. I've got high hopes of some British success at Loket.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, be interesting to see how that goes. So yeah, and then wow, Monster Mountain, what a night!
Yeah, well, I was old school. Like, no, do you know what? We get spoiled with live streams now, don't we? So I was old school, watching the lap times and live timing. But how was it in person, mate?
Yeah, it was brilliant. Yeah, I really enjoyed the night. I was on the commentary, on the microphone, and it was a very, very interesting setup. So the day format was a bit strange. You had 2 blocks of free practice, and then a block of timed qualifying. The free practice was like 15 minutes each for the youth, 20 minutes each for the adults. The youth were 65s, 85s, 125s, 250s. The adults had 1 race with 4 classes in, which is always a favourite for the commentator. Trying to keep tabs of that. But yeah, that went pretty well. The clubman class with the vets over 35s, vets over 45s, and a class they called the steady class.
I like that
I've
one.
never heard of anything called that.
Yeah.
Steadies.
100%.
So who leads the steadies was an interesting one. But yeah, so that was quite cool. But yeah, that worked really well actually. And again, they had 20-minute sessions, and then the pros and experts raced together. So the experts was won by Glenn Phillips. the old lad who was doing well. He only just lost the first race by a fraction of a second. Shane Carlos just got him on the line. I was too busy watching the pros over the line to then notice how close that race was between them. So my eyes were taken away, sadly. But yeah, Shane Carlos showed he's still got some speed there. Had a good race with Phillips. But yeah, the pros were fantastic. Seeing Herlings in mid Wales was just bonkers. And I was able to have a little quite a casual conversation with Conrad Mewse, which was interesting. And he was saying just trying to get used to having Herlings around again because he is just so fast in Conrad's own words. So yeah, he was able to get reasonably close in race 1 despite having to pass some people. And then in race 2 he didn't get the whole shot and cleared off because John Adamson led the race for quite some time. And I remember distinctly saying in conversation that John is going to cost Conrad this race because Herlings did not get away well. He was probably about 5th, maybe 6th around the first corner. And he took his time to get past Joel Rizzi and Tommy Searle to get up to 3rd. And in the meantime, so Conrad hadn't got past Adamson by the time Herlings got into 3rd place. And I was there saying, no, this is surely going to cost Conrad the win because Herlings is going to get close enough. But to be fair, they both got past Adamson, and Herlings simply could not make the move. Mewse said he was quite thankful it was just a 4-lap race. But yeah, fact is he held him off. So and pocketed the cash, and that's why he took the overall win because it was 1-2 ahead of 2-1. And then they had the super final at the end, the 6-lap one, and Herlings just made sure he got the start, got the whole shot, and just did what was necessary. Conrad chased him down. I think Jeff had a bad penultimate lap where the gap went down from 3.5 to 1.7 seconds. But then, Jeffy was able to hold that gap. So that was it from there. But interesting night behind the top 2. Tommy rode the 450 very well. That was good to see. And Joel Rizzi had a particularly good night, actually finishing ahead of Tommy Searle in race 1, his teammate, of course, on the Triumph. So that would have done Joel the power of good confidence-wise, even though there was a bit of beef later when he kind of got taken out by Jamie Carpenter. But there we go. And also, before you say anything, also it was good to see trainer Tom Grimshaw getting back on the bike after his shoulder injury. Good to see him back out there.
Yeah, like I said, it's good to see Tom there because I heard he's starting to get fit again. So yeah, and like I said, Tommy on the 450 is interesting because there wasn't as many MX2 riders there, but Ben Musto was the leader of the pack in the MX2 Pro class, was he?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, there weren't many riders in the MX2 at all. I wasn't quite sure of the prize given, even from the commentary aspect. So I'm not sure quite what Ben earned, but perhaps if they want to get some more top 250 riders there, then they need to sort of advertise how these races are going to be classed and scored, and more importantly, how the prize money is going to go. So Ben was fighting around about 6th or 7th or 8th in amongst all the 450s. Certainly showed some good fighting spirit on that 250. So, it was good to see him at least take the first place trophy home. And hopefully he'll have some more riders join him next time because it was a really, really good event.
Well, on that, the prize fund is very, very good, and they've been pretty honest about that. So I'm just looking at. Well, it doesn't say actually. It just says pro classes. So yeah, it says 1st down to 10th. So it doesn't say there is a split at all. 2,500. Yeah, so there's not actually a split by the looks of it.
Yeah, that was my understanding. But yeah, there was the 125 and the youth 125 and 250 were classified together. They weren't separated. And there was I think there was one family upset about that. But that's just the little bits that needed ironing out, perhaps from the first. It's the first time these guys had done a race like this. Obviously, the stakes were massively heightened when you sign up number 84. There was a lot more attention on it than maybe even they were expecting. But all in all, it was a really good night of racing. It was somebody did suggest that a few little tweaks might be necessary. I would suggest maybe cutting the circuit because it's so big for the 65s. It's just so big. The 65 cc's were taking 3 minutes, 3.5 for some of them to get round, which is an awful long lap. and that hit the schedule because the races went on distinctly longer than I think they guessed. So that was something that perhaps just needs to be looked at in the future, whether you want the 65s there or not. There was only about a dozen of them, so or if you do, then I think you're sure on the track. So yeah, but there's little tweaks. It's the first night. I'm not criticizing at all. It was one of those things where it's a new format. We're trying it, and obviously when you do that, some things aren't going to be perfect, but apart from that, everybody seemed happy. All the riders were very happy with it. Certainly much happier than they perhaps have been in the past with that venue. So yeah, I think it was a decent one.
So obviously a big thing then for Conrad Mewse to beat Herlings. Obviously we've got that to reignite again at Preston Docks as well. Did Conrad speak to you about his injury? How's he feeling now?
It was quite a casual conversation. I did say sorry to ask the inevitable journalist question, but how is the wrist? Was basically the obviously blunt question. And yeah, it's not 100%. This is why he's not going to make the effort to go into America. He can still. I mean, don't forget that these races last night were just 4 laps and 6 laps. So he didn't put maximum effort into every single lap in practice to try and get onto the speed, the pace of Jeffrey. But in the races, for short bursts, he was okay. And I think that's the key difference between doing Monster Mountain and doing well, actually, let's have a look at the riding necessary at the GP. Free practice, time practice, the qualifying race, 2 big races on Sunday, as well as free practice. So, you've got a lot of riding there at the GP. And also, let's be brutally honest, the team isn't focused on that. It's far more of an expense than it is a case of getting anything back out of it. And yeah, I mean, the simple thing was he didn't want to thrash his guts out for a top 15 place. And who could blame him? That's the thing. Okay, the fans were disappointed that Conrad wasn't at Matterley Basin and then went out to race at Monster Mountain. But, it's the equivalent between building a dry stone wall compared to playing with a sandcastle. It's a mammoth undertaking to do the GP. And Monster Mountain is relatively little riding in comparison. And especially when, let's be fair, the prize pot is actually quite nice and well worth it. So yeah, let's be cold and honest about it. These guys are professionals. They're in business of racing. So as a business person, what would you do? And I think that's where you've got to draw your line.
So I'm just looking at it. He would have taken home $2,000 last night. So yeah, won his class and second in super final.
Taken home is the buzzword there because not to go too much into mechanics of it, but how they got paid was a source of amusing conversation between Jeffrey and Conrad that I was able to. I was stood right there. I wasn't earwigging. They were right next to me. So it was just quite entertaining how they were talking about the money. I can't really diverge any more than that. I've got to tease you with that one, guys, I'm afraid. But those guys get on well, Conrad and Jeffrey, which is good to see. And there's some good banter between them. And I think they thoroughly enjoyed themselves. They'll both be back quite happily for sure.
He's saying they got paid in M&Ms or something. only green ones or something. You have to go and split them out.
No. I can't say what I can't repeat what I saw, but they were put it this way, they were very, very funny. So if anyone wants that information, they can hunt me down in the paddock and we'll talk about it.
There you go, hunt Ben down.
So yeah, lots of fun, and I mean, apart from that, the support classes talking about the youth. I mean, Casey Lister was on really good form. He looked very good. There was some interesting racing in the 65s because Rafe Simons won the first race and then sort of fell back a little bit. I think he had an issue in race 2. So in the end, the win went to someone else, and I can't remember. As I talk about it, the name's gone out of my head. But we'll get the results up on dirthub.co.uk. Dirthub.com.
It'll work. It don't matter. Whichever
It
one.
works.
It
It
will
works.
take you there.
It works. It works. There it is. Yeah. So the 60. Sorry. Yeah. The 65s were good. So the small 185s. That's it. Ruddy Jones. He rode well. Number 808. That's right. Yeah. He rode very well. There were two Joneses. Reece Jones was fourth. Yeah, Jack Bryant a good third from two second places. And the 65s was good. Ronnie Morgan rode very well, considering he had to repair his bike, and he actually only did one of the three practice sessions. Didn't even go for qualification. So went to the gate last and took 2 wins. So that was pretty sweet for him. But yeah, so very nice. Danny James rode well for the over 35s vets. Tom Fowen won the steadies, and yeah, Danny Webster was good in the clubman. And also Ollie Bubb rode very well to be top MX2 rider, beating Ben White to that one in the experts class. So that's a good riding from Ollie Bubb as well.
Cool. Logan Powell in the youth as well. Give him a shout out.
Yeah,
And
he rode well. Chris Brindley was in there as well. He was the top 125. Yeah, you can see around Monster Mountain, a 250F just has a real advantage over the 125 bike. So, you've got to be fair to Chris Brindley. He rode his heart out there, considering he's still in his first year on that bike.
yeah, fair play. The rider that stuck out for me before we go was Glenn Phillips, because he looked like he was well in amongst it in both the first two heats. Yeah, he just seemed like he was right up there.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, I mean, I remember having a bit of a giggle with Tom Grimshaw, saying, "It's glad he got past Glenn Phillips, because that would have been a bit embarrassing." And he completely agreed, because yeah, Glenn got better starts, and yeah, Tom had to pass him. I think twice. So yeah, Tom did. Tom was quite grateful for that one. But yeah, some of the pros didn't get past Glenn Phillips, which is yeah, a bit galling really from their side of it. But Glenn is. I mean, I saw him race at Toddington against Ned Bradshaw, and that was, yeah, when he wants to be, an animal. So yeah, it was good to see Glenn there, and he loved it as well, being very local. So yeah, he for sure will be a feature of that one, and it's worth watching Big Glenn in action. He's an entertaining rider on a bike.
Yeah, local legend, like I said there.
For sure.
Yeah, a bit of a quiet weekend coming up, really. It is very quiet this weekend. So everybody gets a bit of a break from it. The Monster Masters series, there is another couple of rounds then to this series.
Yeah.
I'm just going to give you the dates.
23rd of July. Sorry, 23rd of July and the 13th of August.
Yeah, and Jeffrey and Conrad obviously booked in for both of those as well. So we get to see a rematch between those guys.
Yeah, I think the lineup will only get better. I don't think you're going to lose any riders. You might even gain a few. I mean, Martin Barr wasn't there. Thinking through, Bobby Bruce obviously has had issues, but if he's healthy, he might well do the rest of the series, because Taylor Hamill was there. Not sure if Billy Askew might do one. Not sure about that, because the next two rounds are just before Grand Prix. But then obviously Jeffrey's doing it, but he's got access to perhaps better travel than most. So yeah, I don't know if the EMX riders will want to be doing these Wednesday night races before the MXGP of the Czech Republic or before the Swedish round. So yeah, that's the question marks there. But otherwise, yeah, I don't think you're going to lose riders. I think you're going to gain them, because word will get round that it's a good night.
Cool. Well, that's it from us really for probably a couple of weeks now. Bit of quiet now. So yeah, we'll be back with All British Motocross Podcast shortly. I suppose it's going to be the Preston Docks preview show.
Yeah, I would guess so. Yeah, the Preston Docks next round of British is the 20th of July. We've got the MXGP of Finland just before that on the 13th of July. So hope that the track bears up well there. We're with Red Bull KTM for behind the gate, so looking forward to that. And yeah, it's going to be Finland's going to be interesting, and then yeah, going straight to Preston Docks. So really looking forward to that. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Cool. And yeah, Jeffrey Herlings at that one as well. So yeah, stay tuned on other info. Lots of Motocross of Nations teams starting to be announced as well. So yeah, keep your eyes on the site for all of that sort of stuff.
Yeah, nice one. Absolutely. So yeah, that's it for this one from the All British Motocross Podcast. Thanks to Paul Luton, and from myself, Ben Rumbold, as well. Thanks very much. Thanks for listening to everybody out there. Thanks for being great British motocross fans. And yeah, we will see you out there. See you next time.